Hi everyone, welcome to day 19 of watching me learn Spanish. I'm getting started a little bit later in the day than I usually do. Um, so might have to cut the lesson a little bit short, but either way we're going to get through tracks 41 and 42 of language transfer. And then I am going to find out the difference between tenía and había, and then I'm going to practice the video one or two times and write it all out. Alright, right into track 41.
Let's look again at how we speak about the future in Spanish. We saw that we have a future tense, but we might not use it very often because, firstly, we can just use the present to talk about the future if we have some future context, some word like mañana, tomorrow, later, más tarde, or even another part of the sentence which shows us that we're talking about the future. We can just use the present. When we don't have that, we can use ir a, to go to. So voy a, vamos a, vas a, which is also present tense. Voy, vas, vamos, it's present. But we can use it to talk about the future. So, for example, bailar, B-A-I-L-A-R, means to dance. We can relate it to ballerina. Ballerina actually is just dancer in Spanish. Bailarín in Spanish is dancer. So that's where we get ballerina from, bailar. So if you want to say we are going to dance,
Vamos a bailar.
vamos a bailar. Good. If you had some future context, like later, más tarde, or literally more late, you could just say we dance later.
Bailamos más tarde.
Bailamos más tarde.
Good. Bailamos más tarde.
Bailamos
But you
más
could
tarde.
have used that structure with vamos if you wanted to. You have the option. We can say bailamos más tarde, or we could say we're going to dance later.
Vamos a bailar más tarde.
Very good. Vamos a bailar más tarde. So we saw that we have a future tense. We have a future tense, although we might not need to use it very often because we have this situation in Spanish that we can use the present, or that ir a, to go to, is used even more often than in English. This structure of I'm going to do it instead of I'll do it is used even more in Spanish than in English. But we do have a future tense. And the future tense is luckily very related to the different versions that we found of the verb haber. Haber was a very irregular verb, this to have, that we used to go into the past. What was the trick that we used to find the different versions of this very irregular verb haber?
We use the vowels, the e and a
Good.
sounds.
We use these to take off from. We go, what are the two vowels in haber? E and a. Okay. E by itself means
I have.
I have, and a by itself means
He, she, it.
He, she, it, or you formal have.
perfect. And from these we can find the other versions. So we have e for I have, and we have is
Hemos.
Hemos.
hemos. And we have a for he, she, it, you formal. For you informal, what would we do to a?
Us.
Us.
Us. H-A-S. Now completely silent this H. This H that we find in all of these forms. They have, or you guys have,
An.
an. So these are our different versions of haber. Now, these very sounds, so the sounds, because we're not including the H, the sounds, hemos, a, as, an, are the same sounds that we add on to the to form of the verb to get this future tense. So we have a verb like bailar, to dance. If I want to say I will dance using this future tense,
Baile.
I can look at how is I have from haber. So how is I have from haber?
E.
And I can just stick it on the end. But it's the sound that is the same. What we are sticking on the end of the verb is an E. not the H-E. So, I will dance.
Is it bailare or bailaré?
The ending takes
Bailaré.
the accent, and we said that in Spanish we are pushing the accent into the future, which is an interesting phenomenon. We spoke about how in Greek, for example, in the past, you pull it back into the past. So we find this phenomenon occurring in other languages as well. Here we are literally pushing the accent into the future, and we accent that ending and we say bailaré. Bailaré. I will dance. We will dance.
Bailaremos.
Bailaremos.
Bailaremos. He, she, it, you female will dance.
Bailará.
Bailará.
Bailará. They or you guys will dance.
Bailarán.
Bailarán.
Bailarán. And you informal.
Bailarás.
Bailarás.
Bailarás. Good. So we get the future tense without having to learn anything new. We just have to remember that we can look back at haber and see what the different versions of haber were, and then use them to build our future. So in fact, we have two future tenses, let's say. We have will and would. They are both future tenses. Now, hemos, a, as, an, they work for all verbs. Ir, ar, it doesn't matter. They are all using these sounds to form will. And we have the same situation with would. Ir, ar verbs, they are all together. And our key sound for would,
Sorry.
ir, ar, it doesn't matter. They are all using these sounds to form will. And we have the same situation with would. Ir, ar verbs, they are all together. And our key sound for would is ia. So we add on ia to the end of the verb. We are accenting it again because it's pushing the accent into the future. And this ia actually gives us I, he, she, it, and you formal. So here I is jumping in with he, she, it, and you formal. So bailaría. Bailaría means I would dance, he would dance, she would dance, you formal would dance. Or it would dance if you can think of some context where that would make sense.
Bailaría.
I think you can work out what the rest would be. So let's try. How would you say we would dance?
Bailaríamos.
Bailaríamos.
Good. The only thing is the accent stays on the ia.
Bailaríamos.
Bailaríamos. Good. They or you guys?
Bailarían.
Bailarían.
Bailarían. And you informal?
Bailarían. Bailarías.
Bailarías.
Good. So that's it. That's would. So the would and will share some characteristics, so as they are both different futures. No? They share the characteristic that we are adding on to the full verb. Bailar, bailaré, I will dance. Bailar, bailaría, I would dance. And they share the characteristic that they are stressing the ending, that the accent is going to the ending. And they share the characteristic that for both futures, we group all the verbs together, ar, ir verbs. So for both futures, we have one set of endings for all verb types. What was to go?
Ir.
Ir.
Ir. Good. I would go?
Iría.
Iría.
Yes, iría. So this actually works for I, he, she, it, and you formal. So in the would tense, we have I jumping in with he, she, it, you formal.
Iría.
How would you say she wouldn't go?
No iría.
No iría.
Good. No iría.
No
Good.
iría.
What was to eat?
Comer.
Comer.
Comer. How would you say I would eat?
Comería.
Comería.
Good. I would eat, but I don't have time.
Comería, pero no tengo tiempo.
Comería, pero no tengo hora.
Tempo. Tempo we have in English.
Tiempo.
Comería, pero no tengo tiempo. Good. How would you say transformation?
Transformación.
Transformación. Good. So to transform.
Transformar.
Good. Transformar. How would you say it would transform?
Transformaría.
Transformaría. This you would use it if you was to say it would transform something else. No? So you could say it would transform the situation. How would you say that? It would transform the situation.
Transformaría la situación.
Transformaría la situación.
Transformaría la situación. If you wanted to say it would transform, and you mean it would get transformed, it would undergo a transformation, then in Spanish you will say it would transform itself. Now in English we just use the context to understand whether we mean to transform something else or it would transform, it would get transformed. But in Spanish, most of the time you're going to want to put that itself. What is that itself?
Se.
Se.
Good. Itself, se. It would get transformed.
Se transformaría.
Good. Se transformaría.
Se
What is
transformaría.
contamination?
Contaminación.
Contaminación. To contaminate?
Contaminación.
Contaminar.
Contaminar. Good.
Contaminar.
If you want to say it contaminates, how would you say it? It contaminates. Present tense.
Contamina.
Contamina.
Contamina. So,
Contamina.
contamina would mean
Contamina.
it contaminates, it's contaminating. No? Maybe we're talking about the factory and we say contamina. If we want to say it gets contaminated, we don't really have this gets in Spanish. No? So in Spanish, to give this meaning of it gets contaminated, we would just say it contaminates itself. Now it doesn't mean that it's responsible for its own contamination or that it is literally contaminating itself.
Se contamina.
It's just the structure
Se
that we
contamina.
use to replace this gets
Se
that we
contamina.
don't have in Spanish. So if we want to say it gets contaminated and we're talking about the river, we would just say it contaminates itself, even though we all understand that what we don't mean is that the river is actually contaminating itself. So how would you say that? It contaminates itself or it gets contaminated.
Se contamina.
Se contamina.
Good, se contamina. Good.
Se contamina.
How would you say it would get contaminated? So it's not it would contaminate, it's it would get contaminated.
Se contaminaría. Se contaminaría.
Se contaminaría.
Good, se contaminaría.
Se contaminaría.
What is imagination?
Imagina.
Imaginación.
Imaginación. And to imagine?
Imaginar.
Imaginar.
Imaginar. Well done for converting the j to ch. Imagination, imaginación, imaginar. I imagine,
Imagino.
Imagino.
imagino. You will often hear in Spanish, I imagine myself. How would that be?
Me imagino.
Me imagino.
Me imagino. And here, it doesn't really change the meaning. Sometimes, adding this myself, or herself, itself, yourself, etc., doesn't really change the meaning very much. Imagino. Me imagino. I imagine.
Imagino.
How would you say I would imagine?
Me imaginaría.
Me imagina-
Me imaginaría.
María.
Me imaginaría. Good. I would imagine that he doesn't want to go. What is that we use?
Que-
To say
Me imaginaría que non quiere ir.
same as what?
Que.
Good. So I would imagine,
Me imaginaría
me imaginaría that
Que
que
he doesn't want to go.
no quiere
no
ir.
quiere ir.
So together, I would imagine that he doesn't want to go.
Me imaginaría que no quiere ir.
Good. Me imaginaría que no quiere ir.
Next track.
So we saw for would, the future tense of would, we have our key sound ia. We have the key sound ia, which you are adding on to the end of the verb, and this gives you the version for I, he, she, it, and you formal. So for this one, we have I jumping in with he, she, it, you fumo. So we can take a verb like hablar, and we can say I would speak. Hablar is to speak, and I would speak.
Hablaría.
Good. Hablaría. Good. We would speak.
Hablaríamos.
Hablaríamos. Hablaríamos.
Hablaríamos. They would speak.
Hablarían.
Hablarían.
Good. They wouldn't speak.
No hablarían.
No hablarían.
No hablarían. Good.
No hablarían.
The verb to like in Spanish is gustar.
Gustar.
Gustar. So to like is gustar, but it works differently in Spanish, and the way it works in Spanish renders the translation to like as kind of complicated. It would be much better to translate gustar as to be pleasing. So when you say I like it, what we want to say in Spanish is it is pleasing to me. That's the way we say I like it in Spanish. It is pleasing to me. So if you take gustar to mean to be pleasing or to please, how would you make it is pleasing or it pleases?
Me gusta.
Gusta.
Gusta, good. So that's it is pleasing or it pleases. Now if you want to say it is pleasing to me,
Me gusta.
Me gusta.
me gusta. And this is how you say I like it in Spanish. Me gusta. So a very common error that Spanish learners make is to say me gusto. No? To translate it like from English, literally, I like, and they say gusto. But what does that mean then, actually? If you say me gusto, what does it mean if gustar means to be pleasing?
It means I please myself.
Yes, it means I please myself. I like myself. Huh? So you want to be careful there. You don't want to be walking around telling everybody how much you like yourself. Me gusto mucho. No, me gusta mucho. It pleases me. So if you're saying I like them, then of course what you're saying is they please me. So we must take this inter-step, this Spanglish step, to think about it literally, to think it through literally, so we're sure that we're getting the meaning that we want. So how would you say I like them, or they please me, or they are pleasing to me?
Me gustan.
Good. Me gustan. Good.
Me gusta.
So how do you think you would say I would like? It would please me.
Me gustaría.
Me gustaría.
Good. Me gustaría. So just like in English, you use this a lot in Spanish. Me gustaría to eat now. I would like to eat now.
Me gustaría comer.
Me
ahora.
gustaría comer ahora.
Good. Me gustaría comer ahora. We would like to eat now. It would please us to eat now.
Comer ahora.
Nos
Nos
gustaríamos.
Nos gustaría comer ahora.
Nos gustarían.
It would please us to eat now.
Nos gustaría.
So you have this idea.
Is nos gustarían correct?
No, because you have this idea of nos, you have this plural idea, and it's manifesting itself in the verb. So you're not totally in control of your building process at the moment. You're letting some guesswork come in, and you need to cut it. You need to start with the verb. It would please us. So it would please?
Gustaría.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when you start with the verb, you're in control.
Right.
Now you can say it would please us
Nos gustaría
to eat now.
comer ahora.
Exactly. Very good. Nos gustaría comer ahora. What was to see? To see or to view?
Ver.
Ver.
Good. Ver. Good. I would like to see you. Let's speak informally.
Me gustaría verte. Verte. Me gustaría verte.
I would like to see you.
Me gustaría verte.
Good. Me gustaría verte. A couple of verbs,
Verte.
they contract a little bit when we add on our future endings. So when I say our future endings, I refer to both futures, will and would. For example, we have poder, to be able, and would be able is could, no? I would be able to go, I could go. So we have poder, to be able or can, and then we add ia for would, and it would be poderia. But this is a very common verb, and common verbs are much more subject to change and irregularity. So many years of poderia, 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 the e got lost. The e fell away, the e of poder. So I could, he could, she could, it could, you formal could is podría.
Podría.
Podría. You can give me the other versions, of course. How would you say they could or you guys could?
Podrían.
Podrían.
Good. And you informal?
Podrías.
Podrías.
Good. And we?
Podríamos.
Podríamos.
Good. What was to come?
Venir.
Venir.
Venir. Could you come to my house? How was my house?
Mi casa.
Mi casa.
Mi casa. Good. So how would you say, could you come? And this is to come. We don't say to here in English, but it's the second verb. Will be in the to form. Could you come
Podrías venir a mi casa.
to my house? Let's speak informally.
Podrías.
¿Podrías venir a mi casa?
Good. Podrías venir a mi casa. To say or to tell is decir. So we have hablar, which is to speak or to talk. But to say or to tell is decir. Could you tell me something? Could you?
¿Podrías decirme algo? ¿Podrías decirme algo?
You tell me something, and we're speaking informally still.
¿Podrías decirme
¿Me podrías decir algo?
Good. ¿Me podrías decir algo o podrías decirme algo? Could you tell me if you want to come? So let's.
¿Me podrías decir si quieres venir?
Start with could you tell me if? And I remind you that if is the same as yes.
¿Me pod-
¿Podrías decirme si quieres venir?
Okay.
Okay. All set with language transfer. I'm glad that we finally got to learn the conditional would, because that's popped up a lot in my videos, especially like how poder contracts to podría. Yeah, so one thing I wanted to check out is the difference between tener and haber. Oops, haber. Okay, if this is right, then that means haber is mostly used as an auxiliary verb, which means like forming the past, like he partido, I left. And that makes sense because in my video I have a part where I say like ya había partido. The boat had already left, I think. All right, let's get into the video. So first I want to record myself stumbling through this. It's still a bumpy ride to get through it for me. With today, we have 3 more tries with this. So maybe by Saturday, it's going to be clean. But as of now, I'm still stumbling through. Let me take a sip of water and we'll start. como casi muero en un barco en Panamá. Cuando era estudiante universitario, fui de viaje a una isla de Panamá llamada Boca del Toro. Una amiga me acompañó. Empezamos el viaje. Wow, just got mixed up with French and a bunch of other, I think, Italian in there. Let's try again.
Como casi
Como casi muero en un barco en Panamá. Cuando era estudiante universitario, fui de viaje a una isla de Panamá llamada Boca del Toro. Una amiga me acompañó. Empezamos el viaje volando a la capital de Costa Rica. Nos quedamos allí una noche. Para llegar a la isla, tuvimos que hacer un viaje de 4 horas en autobús hasta Panamá y luego un corto paseo en barco. Las carreteras no estaban bien mantenidas, pero el conductor todavía conducía muy rápido. Se metió en un agujero, lo que causó un retraso de 3 horas. Para cuando llegábamos a Panamá, ya era de noche. El autobús nos dejó donde se suponía que estaba el barco, pero el último barco ya había partido. Estábamos atrapados en medio de la selva por la noche sin ningún lugar donde dormir. Un hombre nos dijo que podía llegarnos a la isla por $100 cada uno. Ese era casi todo el dinero que tenía, pero no tenía elección porque no había hoteles donde dormir. También el hombre tenía una arma y nos dijo que el barco era nuestra única opción. El barco era muy pequeño, no había luces y el cielo estaba completamente oscuro. Después 20 minutos, todo el mundo se dio cuenta de que no podíamos llegar a la isla. No podíamos ver la isla y el barco estaba haciendo agua. Al final, el hombre dijo que teníamos que volver. teníamos que volver. Tardamos 1 hora en volver. Tardamos 1 hora en volver. Cuando volvimos, el hombre nos dejó a un hotel 10 minutos de distancia. Así que había hoteles, así que había un hotel cerca y él mintió antes. Le pedimos que volviera. Le pedimos que volviera el dinero, pero él mostró la arma y se marchó. Arriesgó todas nuestras vidas, incluyó la suya, por el dinero. All right.
Como casi muero en un barco en Panamá. Cuando era estudiante universitario, fui de viaje a una isla de Panamá llamada Boca del Toro. Una amiga me acompañó. Empezamos el viaje volando a la capital de Costa Rica. Nos quedamos allí una noche. Para llegar a la isla, tuvimos que hacer un viaje de 4 horas en autobús hasta Panamá y luego un corto paseo en barco. Las carreteras no estaban bien mantenidas, pero el conductor todavía conducía muy rápido. Se metió en un agujero, lo que causó un retraso de 3 horas. Para cuando llegábamos a Panamá, ya era de noche. El autobús nos dejó donde se suponía que estaba el barco, pero el último barco ya había partido. Estábamos atrapados en medio de la selva por la noche sin ningún lugar donde dormir. Un hombre
Encontramos a un hombre
nos dijo que podía llevarnos a la isla por $100 cada uno. Ese era casi todo el dinero que tenía, pero no tenía elección porque no había hoteles donde dormir. También el hombre tenía una arma y nos dijo que el barco era nuestra única opción. El barco era muy pequeño. No había luces. Y el cielo estaba completamente oscuro. Am, después 20 minutos, todo el
Eso
mundo
llevábamos.
se dio cuenta de que no podíamos llegar a la
No
isla.
podíamos
No
llegar.
podíamos ver la isla y el barco estaba haciendo agua. Al final, el hombre dijo que teníamos que volver. Teníamos que volver. Tardamos
Era
una
demasiado
hora
peligroso. Tardamos una hora
en
en
volver.
volver.
Tardamos una hora en volver. Cuando volvimos, el hombre nos dejó
Nos
a un
llevó.
hotel
He took us. Nos llevó a un hotel
10 minutos de distancia.
a 10 minutos de
Así
distancia. Así
que
que en realidad
había hoteles,
había un hotel cerca y mintió
así que había
antes.
un hotel cerca y él mintió antes.
Le pedimos que
Um, le pedimos que volviera.
devolviera.
Le pedimos que volviera
Nos
el dinero,
devolviera el dinero, pero
pero
mostró
él mostró
su
la
pistola,
arma y
su
se
pistola
marchó.
y se marchó.
Arriesgó
Todas
todas nuestras vidas, incluyó la suya por el dinero.
la suya por el dinero. Alright, not too bad. There were some mistakes. I'm actually getting more optimistic about Saturday being smooth because I have 2 more days to practice this. Let me write it out and see if I can do this. So, I'm gonna move this mic. Casi muero en un barco en Panamá. Cuando era estudiante universitario, fui de viaje a una isla de Panamá llamada Boca del Toro. Ok, como casi muero en un barco en Panamá. Cuando era estudiante universitario, fui de viaje a una isla de Panamá llamada Boca del Toro. Una amiga me acompañó. I'll write a few sentences before I check if they're right. Empezamos el viaje volando a la capital de Costa Rica. Nos quedamos allí una noche. empezamos, una amiga me acompañó. Una amiga me acompañó. Empezamos el viaje volando a la capital de Costa Rica. Nos quedamos allí una noche para llegar a la isla. Tuvimos que hacer. So I've been seeing like tuvimos and teníamos. What is tuvimos? Preterite and teníamos is the imperfect. So, okay, there are different versions of tener in the past. One is the imperfect past and one is the preterite. Still don't have a good feeling on when to use what. So, para llegar a la isla tuvimos que hacer un autobús. I think there's an accent on bus. Un viaje en un autobús viaje de 4 horas en autobús hasta Panamá. Y luego dar un corto paseo en barco. So, para llegar a la isla, tuvimos que hacer un viaje de 4 horas en autobús. En autobús hasta Panamá y luego dar un corto paseo en barco. Las carreteras no estaban bien mantenidas, pero el conductor todavía conducía muy rápido. I know there are some accents here that I forgot. This is going to be a never-ending issue. Las carreteras no estaban bien mantenidas, pero el conductor todavía conducía muy rápido. Conducía muy rápido. Se metió. I think there's an accent on the O. En un agujero, lo que causó un retraso de 3 horas. Se metió en un agujero, lo que causó un retraso. Causó. Para cuando llegamos Panamá. Ya era de noche. El autobús nos dejó donde se suponía que estaba el barco. Sin embargo, I think it's último barco ya había partido. Ok, ¿para cuándo llegamos? ¿Para cuándo llegamos a Panamá? A Panamá. Ya era de noche, ya era de noche. El autobús nos dejó donde se suponía que estaba el barco. Sin embargo, el último barco ya había partido. Encontramos a un hombre que dijo que podía I'm always getting llevar and llegar wrong. Que podía llevarnos a la isla por $100 cada uno. Ese era casi todo el dinero que tenía, pero no teníamos elección porque no había hoteles donde dormir. Oh, ya había partido. Ningún lugar donde dormir. Sí. Estábamos atrapados en medio de la selva por la noche sin ningún lugar donde dormir. Encontramos a un hombre que dijo que. So there's no accent on this dijo for some reason. Que podía llevarnos a la isla por $100 cada uno. Ese era casi todo el dinero que tenía, pero no teníamos elección había hoteles donde dormir. No había hoteles donde dormir. También tenía una arma y dijo que el barco es nuestra única opción. Ok, única opción. El barco era muy pequeño y no había luces. Y el cielo estaba completamente oscuro. Llevamos 20 minutos en el barco cuando todo el mundo se dio cuenta de que no podíamos llevar. El barco era muy pequeño, no tenía luces. Still not getting this right. Y el cielo estaba completamente oscuro. Llevábamos 20 minutos en el barco cuando todo el mundo se dio cuenta de que nos podíamos llegar. Again, llegar, like go, like, I don't know, No podíamos ver la isla y el barco estaba haciendo agua. Al final, el hombre dijo que teníamos que volver. isla y el barco estaba haciendo agua. Al final el hombre dijo que teníamos que volver. Tardamos 1 hora en volver. Cuando volvimos, el hombre nos llevó a un hotel a 10 minutos de distancia. Tardamos 1 hora en volver. Cuando volvimos, el hombre nos llevó a un hotel a 10 minutos de distancia. Así que había un hotel cerca y mintió antes. Le pedimos que nos devolviera el dinero, pero mostró su pistola y se marchó. Arriesgó todas nuestras vidas, incluida la suya, por el dinero. Okay, so cuando volvimos, el hombre nos llevó a un hotel a 10 minutos de distancia. Así que en realidad había un hotel cerca y mintió antes. Le pedimos que nos devolviera el dinero, pero mostró su pistola y se marchó. Arriesgó todas nuestras vidas, incluida la suya, por el dinero. Okay, I wrote that out and got pretty much all of it. The reason I wanted to write it out is because when you're writing, you can kind of focus on the finer points that you might gloss over when you're speaking, like where do the accents go? Am I saying llevar or llegar? Llevar or llegar? I think that writing it out definitely exposed some of my weaknesses right now. And you can also, some of my weaknesses have come out, but it was a good exercise, and I think I should always write out the scripts and then get them corrected. So I gotta wrap up today's stream. Thanks for tuning in, and tomorrow we're gonna keep trying to perfect the speech of the video, not writing.